put on a first lip, top lip, we're going to think generically that it's just a resting mouth. We can start with a resting mouth and then change it. A top lip goes from the bottom of the nose to the middle of each eye to the middle of the lip. And the top lip starts as a flap. It's the front of the lip and it's all the space above the lip. So let's cut that shape out here. Let's measure and see what we have. And we'll see if this is the right size. We want this to be the thickness here of how thick you want your lip to be. So that's a good size. We don't want to put it on flat or like that. So we're going to arc the lip because the lip is on an angle under the nose like that. Put a finger here. One finger holds this down and this finger is going to slide this into the face. Get that put in there. And then we'll switch fingers, blend in the rest. Now, we want this to also be blended underneath here. So you can take some time and you would blend this underneath here nicely so we can't see this division. And to hide that, we can also put that little piece of skin that's under the bottom of the nose that runs kind of like that. And then that can be blended in. And you can take the time to put that there. And then the nostrils don't look so huge. This makes more visual sense. And we do that on each side. Now, we're going to pretend that that's done on each side. Well, I guess I'll do it real quick. So we can get that blended in. When we're doing this blending, we don't want to gouge up this plane here. We want to make sure it's not very gouged up. Blend it into the face so it looks arcing. We need to take any tool that has a relatively straight, thin plastic edge. And we want to put the fulcrum in by just pressing that so we get a shadow. Okay. Now looking at this seems a little long. So I'm going to cut this back just a tiny bit. After that, we take our fingers, put them on our cheekbones. My thumb goes against here on an angle, and I gently pat, pull, and slope. So I'm trying to get a nice feeling here that isn't too wrinkled up. It begins to look like the shape of a mouth. So once again, just patting, pulling, and sloping. Now when we get an angle that you like, and you can get down low and look at your head and see the angle, we need to put a pad here so the lip doesn't look so flat. So let's poke a hole. You can rough it up with a fork if you'd like. We just need to make sure that we can attach clay here. Take a tiny piece of clay, flatten it, pinch one end. You need it kind of a teardrop. You're going to arc it so it bows out, and we want it to bow out to add a pad here that looks kissy and full. So the trick is, how can you attach this little teardrop without flattening what you just made? You can get underneath here and blend that in a little. So when you see it, it should look nice and full like that versus that flat plane there. So we do that. If it's too fat, flatten it down a little bit. Once again, I'm just making a teardrop, arcing it, stabbing a hole. A little bit of water. And then the trick is to get these to match somewhat. And you can keep playing with them because we're not sure what your lip's going to be doing yet, what the emotion is. So we just have a generic mouth to start with. It's a little fuller, so I'm just stretching it. So we've got to start. There. And now we're going to put on a bottom lip. So the top lip went on as a flap. The bottom lip is going to go on as a coil. So the bottom lip, you just poke some holes. If you have an open mouth, I'm going to have to come and give you a demo on that. Take a hunk of clay. I'm rolling the ends a little narrower. And I want to measure it by arcing it and making sure it doesn't stick out above your top lip. So that's about a good angle. It's got to look big like this. We've got holes poked there. And I'm going to just blend in the side. Blend in the side so that the mouth is arcing over the face. Now, your bottom lip, the middle of a bottom lip is relatively flat. I'm going to take, maybe not the blade side, measure how wide I want my lip. I'm going to push this back and let it roll. And that's making the curvature under our lip. Take your knife and roll this back. Take your knife and try to symmetrically roll that back. And now you've got a mouth that we can push into any emotion, and we can put muscles on here and have it do whatever it's going to do. And then you need to add the chin. And all these things have to touch, so the chin has to come out to here. Just poke a bunch of holes. Get a big ball of clay. I don't know if this is big enough. Throw it down a couple times so you're sure you don't have air in it. And then you would be putting it on underneath here, and I still need more. But it would go on somewhat like this, and then we still add more until this all lines up and touches, so we still need more chin.